Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to be looking at another SPAC that is backed by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jeff Bezos. So I'm interested to see if this is one of the companies that is going to be a part of Jeff Bezos stepping down to, quote, pursue other passions, end quote. This is a company that is going to be taking public, a company known as Nautilus Biotechnology. If you are interested to see kind of what that looks like, you can see the chart over here on our right hand side, which we're normally tracking, goes up all the way up above 100% on the overall returns. And the reason for that is, as you can see right here over the past 2 days, if we make this a little bit tighter, you can see yesterday is when they announced that they are going to be taking Nautilus Biotechnologies public and essentially providing them with $300 million that they are capable of utilizing. As you can see, the company was trading at $10 a share. This is pretty normal for SPACs. And right now, after hours, they are trading around $19.25 a share. So what is this company? What do they do? Why is it important? Well, let's go and check out the company. So Nautilus Biotechnology, their whole goal is to produce a copy of the human proteome. If you are familiar with science whatsoever, the buzzword here, or the thing that I picked up on, was the human genome. And this was a huge project back in, it may have been the 90s, may have been the early 2000s. Again, this is not my field of expertise, but they were looking to produce the human genome. The reason that this is such a big deal with Nautilus Biotechnologies is because, to my understanding, from what I've done scouring Google and just from some of their patents, no one has ever created a fully sequenced human proteome. The advantage that this would provide would be additional research into human proteomics, which is, again, very similar to human genomics. And this is something that would be incredibly profitable because it would provide a lot of data to the broader medical sector, the broader drug sector, and the capabilities to sequence different types of proteomes. So again, in your blood cells, you have proteins. This is essentially building out the structure of those proteins. Keep in mind, as we go throughout the presentation later and as we continue to talk about the company, that my expertise is not in proteomics, it's not in genomics, it's not in anything science related. However, I am a finance person and I am familiar with some of the companies in the sector. So stay with me, and if I mess up some of the science, then feel free to call me out on it. But as you can see, what they're looking to do is provide additional capabilities for therapeutic development due to the fact that they are looking to, again, utilize those proteins in their research. Again, they're also going to be able to perform a number of diagnostics. This is very similar to what we were looking at with the 23andMe research that we looked at with Richard Branson's VJAC SPAC, and again, basic science research. So the reason that I highlight all of this is because there is a lot of information readily available here, and the company currently is not able to do this. So this is a huge undertaking and just human scientific understanding, and for that reason I think that this is worth throwing some money at, as someone who's also not a financial advisor, and everything I say is really just my opinion. But this is something that, again, I think is immensely capable to change fundamentally how people understand science. And for that reason, you'd probably want to be able to learn some additional info about the company. Well, I was capable of going and getting the merger information. Again, keep in mind that this announcement was made on February 8th. And again, this is a company that has a lot going for it, including what we're originally going to be looking at is $350 million from the original proceed. And we'll talk about what this is used for, but mainly it's going to be for drug development. They're also looking to hire a number of people for the company. I checked out their job listing website. Currently, they are trading under the ticker symbol ARYA that you can see right here. And when that merger happens, which will be in the second quarter of 2021, the new merger is going to be NAUT or NAUT. One of the things that it's going to be very important to note here is that they do have the capability to issue more shares than what is currently listed, which is right at 20 million, by using the PIPE funding. So this is additional investors. They're going to be able to purchase another 200 million shares, $200 million worth of shares at $10 a share. So this is pretty important because, again, if you are currently a shareholder, that share offering will be diluted. What I'm hopeful to see is that they won't necessarily need to act on either of these items, whether it's the $200 million or issuing additional shares to bring in additional money anytime within the next 12 months, although the PIPE offering probably is going to happen. So as you can see, if you are on their website, we've been looking at a lot of investor presentations. I was unable to find that on their website to talk additionally about what they do, what they're capable of. However, I did some scouring on the SEC filings website and I've got something for us. So here I am on the SEC website. Again, I am looking at their latest Form 8K. This is for the ARYA Sciences Acquisition Corp, or ARYA. As you can see, they go through the full details. If you are in the finance world, this is essentially how companies list information that is applicable to them and what we're going to be looking at. A lot of the financials are in here. I'm just going to scroll through them. Feel free to review at your leisure. However, what I'm going to do is actually go down to their actual investor presentation, which was issued on the conference call, and I'm going to run through that very quickly. The reasoning behind that is because I find that information easy to understand, and I imagine a lot of others did as well. So as you can see, we've got our Nautilus PowerPoint here. We're going to review that quite quickly. And the key things that we're going to be looking at here are what is the capability of this stock to really explode. Because when you think biotech, you don't think $20 a share, you think $2 a share. But this company's got some huge backers associated with them. So again, everything in here is inclusive of a lot of forward-looking statements that may or may not actually happen. This is something we're familiar with. We've been watching this. But what they're looking for is to revolutionize biomedicine. And again, we're looking at proteomes. The huge push right now, especially from like ARYA, which is a fund looking to find companies like this, is genomics, or studying the human genome. So again, we've seen PacBio, we've seen BNGO, we've seen Illumina, CRISPR, all this gene editing, gene processing information. This is protein processing, protein information, and maybe even protein editing is a future resource available here. But the goal is to revolutionize biomedicine. There's a lot of information in here, which is, in my opinion, unsubstantiated statements such as 25 billion in the potential market. I think that this is, again, a priceless number, because until we know what this is capable of, we don't know how much they can charge for it, what the cost expectations are, and how they can really launch. So I'm interested to see what this actually develops into. But basically, they are really sitting on a gold mine, in my opinion. So again, they've got their software. I'm going to go very quickly through this process. If you are interested in the science behind this, feel free to look this up on the SEC filings. I'll drop the link in the description below. But there is a lot of info here that, again, without a fundamental understanding, I just can't process it. I just more so want to talk about some of the capabilities from the management team. So as I scroll this, essentially the goal is they're going to be able to do something that people can't currently do and be able to do it a lot faster. So again, I will drop that in the description below. So let's talk about the idea behind this. They're saying that they expect to be a $25 billion global proteomics market. They've got the first mover advantage, which I think is great. And they've got the cash to look it up and to back it up. I am going to be doing more research into if there are other companies in the space that can utilize this. A lot of this, again, biopharma is going to be the moneymaker. However, the academics and research can help drive money to the applied markets and the biopharma. So again, we're going to continue to walk through this to basically how is this going to make them money. You can see right here that they don't expect to have a comprehensive proteome complete until the middle of 2023, which is when they would launch and scale up additional information for customers. Think 23andMe. I think, or my opinion on 23andMe was the fact that the genomes that they were taking care of and doing data runs on is the reason that they are worth so much money. As you can see here on the screen, I think this is the reason that they are worth so much money, is they're going to get that customer generated data. They're going to be able to do this with a lot of different proteins. As we scroll down through here, I want to talk about basically how they're going to be able to scale. They say a lot in here of how they're going to take it to market. Normally, I would be very skeptical of this, but a lot of the leadership is from a company that's already doing this in the form of Illumina, and we'll talk about them momentarily. They've partnered with a number of groups to be able to have access to a lot of info. They have 3 patents that are going to help them be able to produce this information. And then this leadership team is what I really want to talk about. I'm not super familiar with the individuals on here, but the people I want to talk about are, you see the Subra Sankar guy. If I butcher these names, I apologize, who's coming from Illumina. You can also see Mary Godwin, who's coming from Kumolo, who is part of the Human Proteomics project. And then you also see Illumina here from John Murphy. So you see head of global IP and head of R&D are both from Illumina, as well as Nick Nelson, the CBO head of, or coming from Illumina. And you also see down here below from the board of directors, you see the former head of global sales for Illumina. The reason I keep talking about Illumina is the largest player in the gene editing space today. We'll showcase them momentarily, but their stock has been on fire. They're absolutely killing it. And I think if you see a lot of those team members joining this team, it points itself to a lot of benefits. We talk about long-term financial targets. Gross margin of 70% is insane. The R&D expenditures are expected to be 15 to 20% of the expenses, and they're expecting to have operating income of 25 to 30%. I'm not going to hold a lot of value to this slide just because this is a lot of hooray type of information. They really don't have anything to go off of here aside from maybe what Illumina is doing. So again, interesting to look at. I don't hold a lot of value behind it. So this is talking a lot about the individual company. I think that what we'll see here is, again, they have that capability or the shares and the capital to grow. What I'm really looking at is here. So we're looking at a sub $1 billion company. This is a company that, again, they are not profitable right now. They don't have lines of revenue. So this is something that we need to be watching, is where does this cash go going forward? What is the cash burn? So how much are they spending? What I do want to know is how much of the shares are we going to have access to? And the answer is quite a bit of it. You can see most of, or 129,000 shares are going to be owned by others, I would say. And then what you'll see right here is the public shareholders. Basically, if you go out and buy now, there's only going to be access to about 12% of the total shares today. So that's what we're going to be looking at, is that is a relatively low float. And so that's what I want to be looking at, is how do we get in on those shares? So again, that is the company. What I want to look at down below, not necessarily in this information, is the projected financial information. So you can see right here that the projected financial information is this company is not expecting to be profitable anytime in the immediate or near future. So for that reason, this is something I am going to be skeptical of. However, this is, again, a total spec play that I do think is going to have some progress. So let's talk about one primary reason why I think that this is potentially a good investment. So the stock I have on the screen is Illumina. Again, they are in gene editing. They're large cap growth. The majority of the leadership team we just saw is coming from Illumina. As you can see, over the past 10 days, stock's trading sideways, no big deal. Look at it over the past year. This is a company that, again, went from $400 a share prior to the pandemic. They're up to $450. Over the 5-year growth for a company this size has been incredible. And again, they've got a lot going for them comparatively to what we just saw with the potential forward looking. As you can see, their total net income is well into the millions of dollars. Their revenue is, again, well into the millions of dollars. For that reason, I think that there is a lot of potential for this company when you're bringing in 3.5 billion. And when your total profit, again, when we go down below net income, you can see is just north of $1 billion. So I think the potential is there. Again, they're the largest gene editing company, and with their leadership team, I anticipate that Nautilus has the capability to do so as well. So interesting spec play. I think I'm going to start building a position in there as a long-term hold. Again, you saw earlier, this is something that we may be looking at all the way up until 2025. Good spec play, I like it. For that reason, I'm going to be checking them out. So if you found this content helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, join our Discord. Let's talk about the company. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks.